Welcome to HD Rare Coins 111, the place where history meets treasure. Here, every coin tells a story, from the oldest United States classics that shaped our past to the newest rare discoveries that amaze collectors today. If you love the thrill of uncovering hidden value, exploring the beauty of design, and learning the secrets behind coins worth fortunes, then you're in the right place. Join us as we dive deep into the world of rare U.S. coins, both old and new, and reveal the fascinating details that make them priceless. Top 1. In the world of American coins, there are moments in history when a simple piece of metal becomes a silent witness to change, struggle, and transformation. And tonight, we take you back to one of those powerful turning points, the year 1965, when the Washington quarter became more than just a coin. It became a symbol of a nation adjusting to a new financial reality and unknowingly creating one of the most fascinating collectible stories in U.S. coinage. Imagine holding a 1965 Washington quarter in your hand. At first glance, it looks like any other everyday quarter, worn by years of circulation. But beneath that ordinary appearance lies a story full of mystery, rarity, and hidden treasure that many collectors never notice until they dig deeper. The 1965 quarter marks the very first year the United States Mint stopped using silver for its standard circulation quarters. For decades, quarters had been made of 90% silver. But rising silver prices changed everything, pushing the Mint to introduce the new clad copper-nickel quarters. And with that decision, a strange and unexpected event happened, an event that still sparks excitement among collectors today. As the Mint rushed to produce millions of the new 1965 quarters, something unusual occurred. A small number of the old silver planchets from 1964 accidentally slipped into the presses. These errors are incredibly rare, and discovering one is like finding treasure buried in plain sight. They carried the date 1965, but the weight, color, and sound revealed their secret nature. These silver 1965 quarters remain one of the most sought-after error coins in modern American history. That rare mistake created a legend that continues to excite collectors every single year. But silver errors aren't the only mystery hidden inside the story of this coin. The 1965 quarter also has other unexpected varieties that grab collectors' attention. Some were struck slightly off-center. Some have unusual die cracks that look like lightning bolts running across Washington's face, and some showed double details, especially on the motto or the date. These coins grow even more fascinating when you realize they survived decades of circulation while still keeping their errors intact. And because of their unique look, they often end up in the hands of advanced collectors who know exactly how rare these mistakes truly are. Now picture this. Someone sitting at home empties their pocket and tosses a handful of coins onto the table. The coins clink softly, and one quarter shines a bit differently. Maybe it weighs a little more. Maybe it has a deeper ring when tapped. Maybe it even looks like it has a silvery tone instead of the usual copper-nickel color. That tiny moment, the moment of curiosity, is how some people have found life-changing treasures. This is what makes the 1965 quarter so fascinating. Anyone, anywhere can stumble upon a valuable variety without ever going to an auction or a coin shop. Collectors love this coin because it represents the transition year, a moment when the Mint was adjusting to new materials and new processes. That change meant mistakes were far more likely, and those mistakes are exactly what makes certain 1965 quarters valuable today. Every collector dreams of finding one, and every coin hunter knows that the thrill of the search is one of the best parts of the hobby. You never know when a coin hiding in an old jar, a forgotten drawer, or a decades-old piggy bank might turn out to be a rare 1965 silver quarter. And if you're wondering how to tell whether a 1965 quarter is the rare and valuable kind, the first step is checking the weight. A regular clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams, but the silver era weighs around 6.25 grams. Then look closely at the edge. A clad quarter will show a copper stripe, while a silver era is pure white all the way around. These clues alone have helped lucky treasure hunters identify the coin correctly, and some of them have ended up selling theirs for unbelievable amounts at auction. The 1965 Washington quarter teaches us something important. Even the most ordinary objects can hold extraordinary value when we learn to look closely. This coin is a perfect example of how history, error, rarity, and luck can combine to create an unforgettable collectible. And that is why collectors speak about the 1965 quarter with such excitement. It is a coin that tells a story you can touch, hold, and feel in your hand. Today, the real market price and auction value of the rare valuable variety of the 1965 Washington quarter has sold for as high as $80,000 in words. Top 2. There are some coins that quietly move through decades of American life without anyone realizing the incredible secret they carry. And among those silent survivors, the 1967 Washington quarter stands tall as one of the most surprising transition-era coins ever released by the United States Mint. Tonight, we dive deep into its story, its mysteries, its hidden varieties, and the rare errors that make certain examples worth far more than their face value. So sit back, listen carefully, and imagine holding a small piece of 1967 history in your hands. The year was a turbulent time in America. The country was changing, politically, socially, and economically. The United States Mint had just moved away from using silver in quarters, a massive shift that had taken place only 2 years earlier. This meant that millions of new-clad quarters were being struck with urgency, as the Mint worked day and night to meet the nation's growing demand for pocket change. And when production speeds rise, mistakes often rise with them. That truth is exactly what makes the 1967 quarter such a treasure for collectors. Unlike earlier quarters, the 1967 quarter carries no mint mark. This was part of a temporary mint policy to discourage people from hoarding coins during the coin shortage of the mid-1960s. With no mint mark, collectors must rely entirely on physical details to identify rare errors, and this is where the story becomes truly fascinating. Some of these errors were born quietly inside the minting presses, never meant to be noticed by the public. Yet today, those same errors are the reason certain 1967 quarters have sold for astonishing amounts. One of the most famous varieties of this coin is the doubled I example. These doubled details can appear anywhere, on the words "I in God we trust," "Liberty," the date, or even on the eagle's powerful wings on the reverse. Under magnification, the doubled lines look like silent shadows frozen in metal, giving the coin an almost 3D appearance. Collectors love these dramatic varieties, not only for their beauty but also for their rarity. These mistakes were tiny, nearly invisible at first, but to today's coin hunters, they can mean the difference between an ordinary quarter and a valuable treasure. But the story doesn't stop with doubling. The 1967 quarter is known for a long list of minting errors. Off-center strikes, some dramatically shifted, are among the most eye-catching. These coins show part of the design missing or misaligned, giving them a unique look that instantly grabs attention. Then there are the broad strikes, where the coin expands wider than normal because it wasn't properly held in the collar. These errors create a stretched, smooth rim that looks dramatically different from a regular quarter. Another fascinating group of errors is the strike-through varieties. These occur when something accidentally gets stuck between the die and the planchet. It could be a thread, a small metal shaving, a piece of cloth, or even grease. The resulting impression is permanently pressed into the coin's surface, creating a mysterious and one-of-a-kind pattern that some collectors compare to fingerprints of history. And then we reach the most thrilling and controversial mystery of all: rumors of 1967 quarters struck on leftover silver planchets. While extremely rare and not widely confirmed, a few examples have surfaced that weigh closer to silver quarters than to clad ones. Whether they were accidental leftovers from earlier production or part of an unusual mid-minting mix-up, these coins continue to attract attention, curiosity, and excitement from advanced collectors who always keep their scales ready just in case. The beauty of the 1967 quarter is that you never truly know what you might find. This is the kind of coin that can appear in pocket change, inside an old jar, or in a forgotten collection someone discovers in a dusty drawer. Most people handle these quarters every day without even knowing they might be holding a rare minting error. That is what makes collecting so thrilling. The treasure is out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for the right pair of eyes to find it. Collectors often say the best part of hunting the 1967 quarter is the moment when you take a closer look, when you tilt the coin under a light, when you study the edges, when you check the weight, when you run your finger across the surface and feel something unusual. In that moment, the coin becomes a storybook, and every tiny imperfection becomes a character in that story. It becomes a piece of history you can touch. For many people, the 1967 Washington quarter is more than a collectible. It represents determination, change, and the curiosity that keeps this hobby alive. Some collectors spend years searching for the perfect error. Others stumble upon one by accident. But the thrill remains the same: the idea that a simple quarter, a coin worth 25 cents, could turn out to be something far more valuable. And now, as we reach the end of our journey through the world of the 1967 quarter, we arrive at the moment every viewer waits for: the value. The real market price and highest auction value of the rarest and most exceptional 1967 Washington quarter has reached as high as $75,000 in words. Top 3. There are coins that slip through our hands every day, unnoticed and unappreciated, and then there are coins that quietly carry stories from the past, stories hidden beneath their shine, waiting to be discovered by someone who looks just a little closer. The Washington $quarter of 1973 is one of those coins, a seemingly ordinary piece of American pocket change that becomes more fascinating the longer you study it. And today, we are going to take a deep journey into its history, its mysteries, its rare errors, and the incredible value some examples have achieved at auction. So listen closely, coin lovers, because this is a story you will want to remember. The 1973 quarter came to life during a time when America was moving through cultural change, economic pressure, and technological advancement. But inside the United States Mint, the focus was on precision, production, and keeping up with the demands of a modernizing nation. By 1973, the Mint had fully transitioned into the new clad metal composition introduced several years earlier. Silver was no longer part of the quarter's identity, and the copper-nickel clad design had become the new standard. Yet even in this high-speed production environment, where billions of coins were being minted annually, mistakes still found their way into circulation. And these mistakes, these tiny moments of imperfection, are what transformed certain 1973 quarters into valuable collectibles. Let's begin with the heart of the design. On the obverse, the familiar portrait of George Washington stares forward with determination. On the reverse, the mighty American eagle spreads its wings with pride. To the average person, it's just another quarter. But to collectors who pay attention to the smallest details, the 1973 quarter is full of hidden clues that reveal whether the coin is ordinary or extraordinary. One of the most exciting parts of the 1973 quarter story is the wide range of minting errors that occurred during its production year. The most dramatic are the off-center strikes. These errors happen when the planchet, the blank piece of metal, is not properly positioned between the dies. The result is a coin where part of the design is missing or pushed toward the edge, giving it a strange and eye-catching appearance. Some off-center 1973 quarters show only a small shift, but the most valuable examples are the ones that are far off, especially when the date remains visible. These pieces are incredibly popular among collectors because they are both rare and visually stunning. Another rare and desirable error is the double die strike. This occurs when the coin receives doubled impressions on the lettering or the design during the hubbing process. Collectors who examine their coins closely may notice doubled lines on the phrases Liberty, or I in God We Trust, or even on the details of Washington's profile. These subtle details may seem insignificant to the casual observer, but to a knowledgeable collector, these doubled features can dramatically increase the value of the coin. Next, we come to one of the most mysterious categories of error coins: the wrong planchet strikes. Every year the Mint produces many different denominations, and sometimes, by mistake, a blank meant for one type of coin ends up in the wrong machine. A 1973 quarter struck on a nickel planchet, dime planchet, or even a cent planchet is an extraordinary discovery. These coins weigh less than normal and have incomplete designs because the planchet is too small for the quarter dies. These wrong planchet errors are highly prized because they combine rarity, curiosity, and historical significance in one piece. Some of the most shocking 1973 quarter errors come from strike-through accidents. During the minting process, foreign materials like cloth fibers, grease, metal shavings, or even tiny tools can get caught between the die and the blank. When the coin is struck, the material leaves a permanent impression on the surface, creating bizarre patterns and textures. These errors make each affected coin entirely unique, almost like a fingerprint, and the strangest examples are often the ones that attract the highest bids from collectors. And then we arrive at a special group of errors that are harder to notice but extremely valuable: clipped planchets. These occur when the blank is punched out of the metal sheet improperly, leaving the coin with a curved cut or a flat edge. Some clipped planchet quarters have a crescent shape missing, while others have straighter clips that look like something took a bite out of the metal. Error specialists love these pieces because they offer proof of how a single moment in the mint's machinery can transform an ordinary coin into a collectible treasure. But the true magic of the 1973 quarter is not only found in these rare errors, it's also found in where collectors discover them. Many of the valuable error quarters were found in pocket change, hidden inside old jars, tucked away in collections passed down through families, or discovered by people who checked their coins just out of curiosity. Imagine the thrill of emptying out a handful of coins and suddenly noticing something strange. Maybe the rim doesn't look right. Maybe the design appears doubled. Maybe the weight feels off. That tiny spark of curiosity is often the beginning of an incredible discovery. Collectors love the 1973 quarter because it combines nostalgia, craftsmanship, history, and unpredictability. Each coin invites you to look a little closer, to appreciate the art behind the minting process, and to chase the possibility that something truly rare might be right in front of you. This is what makes coin collecting so special: the excitement of the unknown and the joy of finding value where most people see nothing more than pocket change. Now, as we reach the end of this journey through the story of the 1973 Washington quarter, we arrive at the moment every collector waits for: the value. Among the rare and highly desirable error varieties, the real market price and highest auction value for the most exceptional 1973 Washington quarter has reached as high as $90,000 in words. Top 4. In the vast world of American coins, some dates stand out not because they are ancient, not because they are silver, but because they hide surprises that most people never notice. The Washington quarter dollar from 1979 is one of those fascinating pieces, an everyday coin that millions of people have touched, spent, dropped, saved, and forgotten. Yet beneath its familiar shine, there are secrets, errors, and varieties that have turned certain examples into rare and valuable treasures. Today, we explore the full story of the 1979 quarter, the mysteries hidden inside its metal, and the errors that have captured the imagination of collectors everywhere. So settle in, coin lovers, and listen carefully as we uncover everything that makes this coin extraordinary. The year 1979 was a time of change across the United States. Technology was evolving, inflation was rising, and Americans were adjusting to new daily realities. Inside the United States Mint, production was running at full speed to meet national demand. Billions of coins were being struck, including the familiar Washington quarter. This tremendous pace opened the door to mistakes, small imperfections that today stand as valuable clues for collectors who know what to look for. The 1979 quarter was struck at 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia quarters have no mint mark, Denver coins carry a D, and San Francisco carry the S mark. While most S-mint coins from this era were proofs, some have made their way into circulation, becoming exciting finds for sharp-eyed collectors. But the true magic of this coin lies not in where it was minted, but in how it was minted, and what went wrong in the process. One of the most popular collectible categories for the 1979 Washington quarter revolves around die varieties. Among these, doubled dies remain one of the most exciting. When a die receives misaligned impressions during hubbing, the resulting coins show doubled or shadow-like details on letters, numbers, and facial features. Some collectors have discovered doubled dies on Liberty, on the motto "I in God We Trust," and even on Washington's eye and profile. These doubled lines, invisible to the casual observer, become treasure to the trained eye. Their rarity and their dramatic appearance make them highly sought after, especially in high-grade condition. But doubling is only the beginning. The 1979 quarter also includes a fascinating group of off-center strikes. These occur when the blank planchet is not seated correctly in the press. A mild off-center strike shows only a slight shift, but the most dramatic examples can be 20, 30, even 40% off. When the date remains visible on these coins, their value multiplies. These errors look like a piece of history that slipped sideways during minting, creating a distorted yet captivating coin that collectors love. Another exciting error found in 1979 quarters is the broad strike. When the retaining collar fails, the metal expands outward during striking, giving the coin a wider, smoother rim. A broad-struck quarter looks instantly unusual, almost stretched, and this odd appearance draws serious interest from collectors of mint errors. These pieces are dramatic, eye-catching, and unmistakably different. Then there are wrong planchet errors, some of the most thrilling finds for any coin hunter. Every year, different denominations are minted side by side. That means there is always a small chance that a quarter may accidentally be struck on the wrong blank. A 1979 quarter struck on a nickel or dime planchet is incredibly rare. These coins weigh less than normal, look undersized, and often show incomplete edges because the planchet cannot fully capture the quarter design. These unusual pieces have sold for large sums, especially when found in excellent condition. The strike-through errors of 1979 also form a fascinating chapter in this coin's story. During the minting process, anything, from grease to loose fibers to broken machine parts, can slip between the die and the blank. When that happens, the object leaves a permanent imprint on the surface of the coin. Some strike-through errors look like fingerprints frozen in metal. Others resemble scratches, textures, or foreign patterns. These coins are one of a kind, making each piece uniquely mysterious. Another rare and collectible variety in 1979 quarters is the clipped planchet. When the blanks are cut too close together, the planchet can have a curved bite-shaped section missing. Some clipped pieces even feature double or straight clips, adding to their visual appeal. Error collectors love these oddities, especially when the clip is prominent and the coin still retains strong details. But the true charm of the 1979 quarter lies in the fact that many of its rare errors are still discovered by beginners, hobbyists, and casual coin checkers. Some of the most valuable pieces have emerged from old jars kept in family homes, from pocket change in daily transactions, or from collections passed down without anyone realizing what treasures were inside. That is what makes this hobby magical. You never know when a simple moment of curiosity might lead to a life-changing discovery. Collectors appreciate the 1979 Washington quarter because it represents a perfect blend of modern production, minting imperfections, and surprise errors. It is a coin that rewards patience, attention, and passion. Whether you're studying the fine details on Washington's profile, checking the mint mark, or examining the rim for signs of misalignment, every coin offers the possibility of something rare. And now, after exploring everything that makes this coin fascinating, the history, the varieties, the errors, the thrill of discovery, we reach the moment every viewer waits for. The real market price and highest auction value for the rarest 1979 Washington quarter has reached as high as $95,000 in words. Top 5. In the world of American coinage, some years pass quietly, leaving behind ordinary coins that millions of people spend without a second thought. But every so often, a particular year gains attention, not because of its age, not because of precious metal content, but because hidden among the ordinary are rare treasures waiting to be discovered. The 1994 Washington quarter is one of those fascinating coins. At first glance, it looks like any regular piece of pocket change. But once you take a closer look, once you understand its secrets, its errors, and its uncommon varieties, the 1994 quarter becomes a coin that every collector should study with great attention. Tonight, we dive deep into its story, its production, its mysteries, and the rare errors that have made certain 1994 quarters worth far more than 25 cents. The year 1994 was an era of economic growth, technological innovation, and fast-paced production inside the United States Mint. The Mint was striking billions of coins every year to meet the needs of a country that relied heavily on cash transactions. With so many coins being minted in such a short amount of time, mistakes were inevitable. And those mistakes, the kinds that happen in a split second, have turned some 1994 quarters into highly sought-after collectibles. Most 1994 quarters were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, represented by the letters P and D. While these mint marks help identify where they were made, the real excitement lies in the small imperfections that slipped into production. These errors often went unnoticed as coins entered circulation. For years, people used these coins to buy snacks, pay for parking, or make change at the store, never knowing that some of them were rare pieces of minting history. One of the most thrilling features of the 1994 quarter is the doubled die variety. When a minting die is improperly hubbed, the resulting doubled lines appear on the coin's lettering, numbers, or even the fine details of Washington's profile. Some 1994 double die quarters show shadow-like doubling on Liberty, dramatic duplication on the motto "I in God We Trust," or slight but noticeable doubling on the date. These double details are subtle to beginners but incredibly valuable to experienced collectors who know exactly what to look for. Another exciting element of the 1994 quarter is the off-center strike. Off-center errors occur when the planchet is not correctly positioned between the hammer and anvil dies during striking. A small shift results in a mild off-center appearance, but the most valuable 1994 off-center quarters show dramatic misalignment, 20%, 30%, even more. If the date is still visible on a heavily off-center piece, its value skyrockets. These errors give the coin a surreal, distorted look that attracts collectors who admire unusual and eye-catching pieces. But the surprises don't end there. Broad strike errors also appear among 1994 quarters. A broad strike happens when the retaining collar fails to hold the planchet in place, causing the metal to spread outward during striking. This results in a quarter that is wider, smoother, and flatter around the rim than normal. These errors are visually striking and incredibly popular among mint error specialists who appreciate the dramatic appearance of a broad-struck coin. One of the most valuable and exciting categories of 1994 quarter errors is the wrong planchet strike. These occur when a blank intended for another denomination accidentally gets struck with the quarter design. A 1994 quarter struck on a nickel planchet or a dime planchet is significantly lighter, smaller, and missing parts of the design. These wrong planchet errors are incredibly rare and are considered masterpieces of modern minting mistakes. For collectors, finding one is like winning a small treasure hunt. Strike-through errors also add to the fascination of the 1994 quarter. When grease, fabric fibers, metal shavings, or other foreign objects get trapped between the die and the planchet, they leave a permanent mark on the coin. These marks may look like scratches, smudges, or strange textures pressed into the metal. No two strike-through errors are exactly alike, making each one a unique collectible with its own character and story. The 1994 quarter is also known for partial collar errors. In this mistake, the collar only partially engages the coin during striking, causing a distorted rim known as a tilted or railroad rim. This error gives the coin an uneven edge that stands out immediately once the coin is rotated under light. Error collectors often seek these pieces because they blend subtlety with technical minting intrigue. Clipped planchets add another layer of rarity to the 1994 quarter. These planchet errors, caused when the blanking punch overlaps the edge of the metal strip, produce quarters with curved or crescent-shaped missing sections. Some examples even feature multiple clips, making them especially valuable. These errors visually demonstrate how a small shift in the sheet metal punching process can create a wildly unusual coin. Collectors find the 1994 quarter especially exciting because many of its rarest errors remain hidden in everyday circulation. It is not uncommon for someone to discover an unusual 1994 quarter in pocket change and later learn that the coin is worth far more than its face value. This element of surprise, this unpredictable thrill of discovery, is what keeps the hobby alive. The idea that a small, common coin could turn out to be something extraordinary fuels the passion of collectors, young and old. The 1994 quarter stands as a reminder that modern coins are just as capable of producing valuable treasures as older silver coins. Even though the 1994 quarter is made from copper-nickel clad, its errors, varieties, and high-grade examples have created a strong market among collectors. Every tiny detail, from the shine of the rim to the shape of the mint mark to the spacing of the letters, can mean the difference between an ordinary coin and a rare collectible. Now, after exploring the full story of the 1994 Washington quarter, its history, its minting mysteries, and its valuable errors, we come to the moment everyone waits for. The real market price and highest auction value of the rarest 1994 Washington quarter has reached as high as $68,000 in words.